All right, so good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. All right, so my name is Emmanuel Jacob, founder, Digital Swap. So I have here with me our guest. I'm going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself. All right, so over to you, sir.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Emmanuel Jacobs, for having me on your program today. My name is Matthew Anyete Michael, but most probably popularly known as Love Wealth. Yeah, in the crypto space. I am a blockchain educator at at BI Consultancy. I'm also the advisory board chair at the SABI. I'm also the human resource manager at AX Nigeria. Yeah, thank you.
All right, that's amazing. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. All right, to our viewers out there, thank you so much for joining us. Please kindly let us know where you are streaming from in the comments section. Let us know where you are streaming from. We are streaming from Lagos. Kindly comment Lagos in the comment section. And do well to copy the link of this event, share it with your family and friends, share it across different blockchain groups that you belong to, and probably post it on Facebook and invite as many as possible to come and participate in this live stream as we are bringing to you the opportunities that revolves around Web3. All right, thank you so much, Ruben Michael. Ruben Michael is streaming from Uyo. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate. And I wouldn't love you to gain this value alone. I would love you to make sure you share this with as many as possible so they get to participate and as well get to gain from what we are going to be sharing this evening. All right, so I want to run a quick introduction to what I feel Web3 is. So I think Web3 is actually a successor of two how do I call it, from two generational of sorry, from two generations of the web. All right, so I think we've got the web one and web two as well, and that is why we have bring a seasoned blockchain expert who is going to help us um, explain and in simple terms what exactly Web3 is all about. All right, so I'm going to give this opportunity to Lord Well to dive deeper into what exactly Web3 is all about before we get into discussing the opportunities that revolves around Web3. Thank you.
All right, thank you about the brief intro. All right, so when we talk about Web3, we had a discussion recently in stakeholders in Blockchain Association of Nigeria, that's CBAN, where we're talking about somebody raised up the question if blockchain or Web3 is more of a buzzword at the moment and actually not something that is really feasible or reality at the moment. And that was an interesting topic for a conversation that we had over there. In preparation for this particular session that we're having now, I stumbled on a video. All right, the video dates
Mm.
back to 1993. All right, where some group of people were just like how you and I we are having this conversation right now. Although we are having this conversation over the internet, all right, they were it was like a talk show. All right, so they were sitting down together and they were having this conversation. And the question they were asking themselves is, what is the internet anyway? All right. So in 1993, that was an interesting question. All right, that's because the internet came up in 1991. We know all about the dot-com bubble, whereby everybody was just so excited about this new technology. All right, so when I saw that video, and right now, exactly what is happening in this our time right now in 2022, whereby everybody is asking the same question: what is Web3 anyway? Like, what is this Web3 all about? Like, what does Web3 has to offer to me? All right. And if we're going to be actually discussing today the opportunities in Web3, I think it's important for us to really know in details or in simplified form what Web3
What
is all
Web3
about.
is.
All right. So
Beautiful.
just oftentimes I like making my definitions very simple, and I like defining my terms from the words in itself. All right. So when you have Web3, it means that there's definitely had to be a Web1 or a Web2. All right. So
That,
Web3 is more like what you said, is the third generation, all right, of the web, of the World Wide Web, WWW, of the internet. All right. So Web3 is the third generation. Web3 is the third iteration, all right, of the internet. All right. So Web3 is just your basic internet, all right, but incorporating a whole lot of new different concepts. All right, so Web3 is having your traditional internet, your basic internet, all right, but incorporating some basic new concepts. And those new concepts that are incorporated in the internet that now made the internet, that now made this new internet called the Web3 are blockchain technology, decentralization, and token-based economics. All right. So if that is cryptocurrency. So if I take the current day internet, all right, and I add on it blockchain, and I add on it cryptocurrency, all right, and I introduce into it decentralization as its framework, I have just given birth to Web3. All right, so Web3 is just an upgrade to the already existing Web1, or to the already existing Web2. All right, so I'll just take you guys through history so that you can get to appreciate what I just said right now. In 1991 up to 2004, when the internet came out and it was a buzzing, amazing technology that everyone was happy about. The internet was then, in retrospect, now looking at it from hindsight, we can now consider that what they had at that moment was Internet 1.0, that is Web 1. All right. Now, the what Web 1 was all about at that moment was, or what Web 1 could only offer at that moment was just static pages. All right. Then you load the internet, you load a web page, and all you could just see is just information that the creator, all right, of that particular web post placed. So it was static. It was not dynamic. It was not interactive. All right. It was just it lacked interaction. So Web one lacked interaction. With Web one, you couldn't interact with the owner of the platform. You couldn't interact with other users of the platform. Web one was just static. All right, and yeah, we could all give it credit that it's because that is the first that was the first creation. All right, so definitely there was lack of infrastructures and the rest. So Web two, when you are creating something new or when you're upgrading something, you're trying to solve the challenge, all right, of the previous one. If I say I have a car and I'm saying I want to bring a new type of car, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to be solving the challenges of this current car to ensure that the new car I'm bringing is going to be more better. Just exactly what we can see with what Elon Musk is doing. So we're complaining about green bad fuel. Um, the whole world is complaining about global heat, global warming, and etc. and etc., which is based on the current fuel we're using. And Tesla is coming out to say, okay, I'm going to be bringing out electronic cars, all right, that wouldn't bring out these bad emissions, all right. Yeah. So that was the same thing with Web two. So Web two was like, okay, we as users, all right, we want to communicate with you. You have placed something on your platform. You have written something beautiful. We want to be able to interact with you. So Web 2 was the solution to the lack of interaction. All right. So Web 2 came to solve the problem of interaction. Now with Web 2, you no longer have static pages. Web 2 was no longer read only website. Now you could read and write. All right, so you can actually read a web page, all right, and make comments. So right now, if Web 2 was now read and write, Web 2 came and solved the interaction issues. So right now there was interaction between person to person. Web 2 actually brought into the world this global village of a thing, whereby we now have Web 2 and Web 1 can now be classified as something I like to call the Internet of Information. All right, so Web 1 and Web 2 was the Internet of Information. Web 1 lacked interaction. Web 2 solved the interaction barrier, brought about interaction. Now we have YouTube where users can upload their video files and people interact with it. We have Twitter where people all around the world are communicating one with each other. All right, but one singular thing that Web 2 didn't plan, or the original platform, or the original internet really didn't plan for, was the transfer of value. All right. And that is exactly what Web 3 came to solve. So Web 2 and Web 1 was the internet of information, while Web 3, based on its incorporation of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, decentralization model, bet the internet of value. All right. So now with Web3, you and I cannot just only exchange information in a peer-to-peer manner, all right, but we can now also exchange value, all right, in a peer-to-peer manner. And it solved the problem of middlemen. We cut out. Well, that's basically the journey from Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, and some people are already talking about Web 5. But let's see. We're here for Web 3 now. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I think that really explains what exactly Web3 is and how it started. Simply means that we already had Web1, where people could just see informations on the internet without being able to make any form of input, and as well as Web2. I think we are currently at some parts of Web2 and Web3 as well, where users are able to make inputs. You could be able to comment on someone's photo. You could also become a creator, like you could make a post. Not, I think Web1 was just limited to people that owns a particular product, maybe a website or something, where you could only be able to see information without being able to make any form of input. Then I feel Web2 is the current stage that we are, where users are able to also upload content on social media, and other users are able to make a comment and they are able to make inputs. And then I think we started having some form of Web3, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Mr. Notwell?
Yeah.
We have, okay. So that is beautiful. So I would like to know what exactly led to the emergence of this Web3.
Okay. Um, just like you said, the Internet of Information, Web 1 and Web 2, right, was created with the sole purpose, all right. I like to say it was created with the sole purpose, all right, of giving communication and information back to the people, right? Because before the internet came, um, information dissemination, all right, was highly reliant on big news media platform, big television platforms, that every single thing they said, all right, had to be what was taken by the people. All right, so the people had only one source of information. All right, the people had only one source. All right, of communication. So in order for them to be able to speak one to one, all right, they needed to rely on the ancient methods, and in order for them to have information from their government, information from the industry whereby they are participating in, they need to rely on these big news media. All right. And that's one dangerous thing, all right, that can ever happen to a society. The centralization of information, the centralization of value. All right. So the creation of the internet in itself was actually bettered, all right, to solve the issue of the decentralization of information and communication. All right, so because when the internet launched and people were able to on their own put up news that is from them, put up their thoughts, what they are thinking, all right, or just like we see right now with Instagram Live, with Twitter, whereby people, individuals like you and I, are now our own news platform. All right, so based on our environment, we can actually tweet something that's happening in our environment, and people can be able to know what is happening here. All right, so the internet actually solved the peer-to-peer distribution of information. All right, it solved the peer-to-peer distribution of information, but didn't. Well, I say didn't or couldn't. Or I think I should use didn't, but didn't solve the issue of peer-to-peer interaction of value, or peer-to-peer interaction of transactions without the need, right, of of a middleman. All right. So what the big news media platform, the newspapers, the publication platforms, and the television platform, what they were all about before the internet came, that is the same thing our banks now became in our area of value and transactions. All right, so right now, in order for me to be able to transact with you, Emmanuel Jacob, I need the help of a bank, all right, to come and establish trust. Okay, just like then, in order for me to know what is happening in Canada, I need let's say CNN, which we already trusted, which we have given our trust to be able to tell us that so and so is happening uh, in Canada. There's a war happening in Canada. There's this and this happening in Canada. So the same thing, in order for us to make transaction, exchange value, and humans, we are creature of values, all right? We are creature of values. We in order for us to live, we need to exchange values. You give me something, I give you something. All right. There need to be this exchange. But because of distant barrier, demographic barrier, we couldn't be able to perform this exchange of values, all right, without the help of somebody we could trust, and that person should establish trust for us. All right, so we came together and we agreed that the banks, the government should be our trusted party, our trusted middlemen. And we trusted them so much. And at the beginning, they were very helpful. All right. But just like everything in life, every good thing finally gets abused. So, in some moment in time in history, we discovered that our banks became not just trust establishers, they became authoritarian. Right? They became the lords over our money, over our value. The government became bosses over how we should exchange value. All right, they began to give us sanctions. They began to give us um, laws that would guide. We actually brought them to establish trust, but they become so big, all right. And guess what? We were paying them for every single time they helped us establish trust. We gave them an incentive, all right. So we told them thank you, but not just empty thank you. We gave them a fee, all right. So maybe I'm about to have a transaction of $1 million, all right. But because this bank helped me to establish trust between you and me, uh, after I'm done, the bank takes a little percentage of that money, all right, as their trust establishment payment. So this money we're giving them made them so big, and they discovered that man, these guys can't do without us. All right, so they started deciding how we move our money. All right, sometimes I have a business deal with you, and my bank will just come and tell me that hey, that money you're about to deal with is so big. I don't want you to deal with that kind of big money. In fact, I won't allow you send your money. So they were no longer trust establishers; they became lords and kings. Yeah. So in 2008, 2018 to 2009, we had a savior or a person or a group of people who came together and they were like, man, just the same way the news media and the TV platforms were became so big and became lords and people were tired, we're like, okay, let's come up with a new way. We need to transact person to person without a need, all right, of these so-called middlemen or trust establishers, and that was when the Bitcoin white paper came out, and that was the bet, all right, of Web3. All right, so the launch of Bitcoin as a protocol and Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, all right, was the launch, all right, of Web3. Remember what I said about my definition earlier about Web3? I just said Web3 is just an iteration, all right, of the current web of the current internet that incorporates decentralization, token-based economics, that is cryptocurrency, all right, and blockchain. All right. So when Satoshi Nakamoto betted Bitcoin as a protocol and Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, that was when we launched Web3. All right, which helped us eliminate the middlemen, eliminate these so-called big bankers that we couldn't transact, that we couldn't establish trust without them to have our exchange of value. We were able to eliminate them by the use of the Bitcoin protocol. So the blockchain in itself became our trust establisher. The protocol, that's the blockchain protocol, became the trust establisher, and the cryptocurrencies became the means of payment, that is the means of the exchange of the value. So that's what bettered Web3. The fact that these guys became so big and evil, we needed a new internet, and we got Web3. And since the rise of Bitcoin, we have seen so many different upgrades to Bitcoin. We have seen Ethereum, different so many platforms that just makes life beautiful. Your mic is muted.
Yeah, I just unmuted. Thank you. All right, so thank you so much for that. And a quick one, I want to know when exactly will this Web3 of a thing be fully implemented? When are we going to get to fully embrace the Web 3.0?
All
What do
right.
you think about that?
Yeah, a whole lot of what I'll be doing today, I'll be trying to relate what we currently have right now with the .com bubble that we experienced before. So the full implementation of Web3, all right, is not something I see um, happening at the moment or anytime soon. All right, just the same way there was a whole lot of hype, all right, around the internet in the early 2000s, in the late 1990s. Right, there was a whole lot of hype. There was a whole lot of promissory notes. There was a whole lot of amazing ideas that people were bringing out, that this is what the internet will be able to solve. But we saw that at the end of the bubble and everything busted, just a few survived. All right, and we have seen Web 2, all right, grow and have new set of information, new set of technologies being implemented on it. Now, right now, we have medtech, we have fintech, we have edutech, we have so many things on the internet right now. That is the same thing I expect with Web3, with blockchain and cryptocurrencies. All right, so right now we are going to have a whole lot of hype. We are going to have a whole lot of excessive promises. All right, we're going to have a whole lot of uh, utopian ideas, Valhalla ideas. We're going to have promises of people taking us to the metaverse, of people taking us to a world where everything is possible. But the fact is, at the moment, we are not going to see the true potential, all right, or the true functionality of Web3. That is because Web3 currently, it's in its teenage age, and there's room for so many play arounds on it. There's room for so many improvements. All right, so when are we going to see full implementation? I don't think anytime soon. Is going to be a work in progress. Every single day something new is going to come up. Like we had the DeFi trend, we have the NFT trends, we had the metaverse trend. Something new is going to come up. There's always going to be a new trend. All right, so that is what I expect to see with Web
All
three
right, thank you
implementation.
so much. And okay, I would like you to shed more light on the skills that are relevant in the Web3 space.
Okay. Um, one thing I'll just like to, one misconception I'll just like to clear out to all our listeners is when you think about Web3 or when you think about blockchain sector or the Web3 industry, I wouldn't advise us to see it as something as a novel technology. Like I said earlier, it's just an interaction or an integration of several already existing tech, several already existing technology. When we talk about blockchain, which, as we all know, a blockchain is a distributed ledger technology, all right? Just your normal record keeping, all right? But this time around, the means of the data structure, all right, behind this record keeping, it's different, all right? It's distributed, all right? So that means we have different copies of the individual ledgers on different devices or different clients and different hosts. Okay, not trying to go into the technicals. What I'm just trying to say is Web3 is not a novel idea. It's not a novel technology. It's not an eureka idea like, hey, I just stumbled on Web3. All right. It's a compilation. All right. It's a compilation of different already existing ideas. It's a compilation of cryptography. So cryptography was existing here, all right. Distributed ledger technology was existing here, and we had a concept of decentralization somewhere in our mind. All right, we had a concept of an electronic cash system somewhere in our mind. So somebody just came together and was able to plug these whole different stuffs. All right, just took cryptography, took decentralization concept, took distributed ledger technology, and the coalition of this whole thing, just like we have the northern Nigeria and the southern Nigeria, and Lord Lugard decided to amalgamate us to make us Nigeria. All right, that is exactly what happened with blockchain. All right, so we just have all these things amalgamated together, and we now have this new term that we call blockchain and we call Web3. All right, so the skills that are necessary, all right, in order for you to be able to function perfectly in this new ecosystem or this new industry basically, I would just like to call them basically, are just basically the skills, all right, you should already have or you should be already operating with, all right, in the current Web2. All right, relevant skills just include programming skills, back end and front end, cloud engineering. So software engineering basically. All right, so you're a back end engineer, you're a front end engineer, you're a cloud engineer. You can survive also in the blockchain space. All right, maybe you just need to learn one or two. All right, about the little tweak that was made. All right, in building a blockchain and protocol. All right. But if you're already a Web2 software engineer, all right, all what you just need to do is an extra little bit of further learning. All right. So software engineers, that is a relevant skill, all right, when considering Web3. UI UX. All right. In as much as you're going to build a wonderful Web3, all right, you have to build it in a way that your users will be able to see it and appreciate it, and their experience while using it, all right, would be will be okay for them. All right. So when we have the developers, the software engineers, we also need user interface and user experience developers that are also going to work on how people can be able to interact with these blockchain services, content creators, marketers, all these also are relevant skills because this is a new industry that needs to be sold to the people. All right. And in order for you to sell something to people, you have to come up with content or copies that these people can be able to read, understand, and you get them sold that they can start using, all right, your platform, all right, or this new blockchain educators too. So are you somebody who knows how to talk like myself? All right, you can learn about this new tech and become an educator about the project. All right, these are skills that I think cannot be doing cannot be left away with. All right, so just remember what soft skills or what already internet skills do you have currently? If you already have an internet skills, what you should be thinking is, okay, how can I implement it or how can I integrate it into this new ecosystem? Not thinking about maybe there's a new type of skill you need to go and learn. All right. So that's basically that.
All right, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And
Yeah.
I would love you to share with us the opportunities that revolves around Web 3.0.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when you want to know the opportunities that avail, all right, you have to, the first thing you have to get yourself to find out is what can this thing do. All right, if you're looking out for an opportunity, you're going to be looking at uh, what what is available in this stuff for me. All right, so what can Web3 do? All right, bulk of human interactions and exchange of values oftentimes require the need of contracts, all right, between one person to another person. All right, contracts are just rules of engagement. All right, so just the same way you reached out to me and said you would like to host me on your platform, for us to be able to talk about Web3 opportunities. All right, let's think about like this particular thing was a business deal, all right, and there will be need for profit sharing, all right, from the revenue we were able to generate from this live stream. All right, now there would have been need for me and you, all right, to come into contract, to come into an agreement, so that later on this live stream does not generate, doesn't go ahead and generate $3 billion, and I start telling you that my part in the $3 billion is actually 2 billion, and you're telling me no, it's 1 billion, and we go into conflict. All right, so contracts are meant to reduce to the barest minimum the hurdles of conflict. Okay, yeah. So Web3 actually brought a sweeter way, all right, in which we can actually have contracts on the internet. So I don't need to be close to you in order for me and you to come into a physical place where we can actually sign contract. With Web3 now, what is that one thing that Web3 has been able to make us be able to do is the introduction of what we call smart contracts. All right, so just the same thing that you have with your traditional contracts, trying to enforce the conditionalities of the agreement. That is the same thing smart contract does. All right, so through the help of blockchain immutability, decentralization, speed, security, transparency, all these things put together in a contract that can self-execute once the conditionalities are observed. All right. So with Web3 now, we can now have our contract on the internet. So you can be in Lagos, Nigeria, and I can be in Uyo, Nigeria, and we can actually go into a business deal and have our contract being done person to person without no middleman who is trying to enforce, no lawyer that is trying to enforce our contract. The protocol, the blockchain protocol on which that smart contract is built on, will help us enforce the smart contract when the conditionalities are met or when they are not met. All right. So one thing Web3 does for us is the introduction of smart contracts. Is also the introduction of decentralized business models. All right. So previously in Web2, what we see with Web2 is bulk of the services or the businesses we have just one central authority whereby the chain of command, all right, now flow from. All right, so Web 2 is more like a primary pyramid scheme, a pyramid block, primary pyramid structure, sorry about that. A pyramid structure where we have the CEO or founder at the top. All right, then we have the business operatives, the CEO, the COO, the operations, and the rest. So it has a singular central point of authority. All right. These are the current existing models. All right. Whereby everything is centralized. How the company moves forward comes from a central place. How the company mode of operation and revenue system is being generated come from one place. All right. But what can Web3 do for us It has given us a new type of business models. That's given us an opportunity to have a new type of business models where we now have decentralized autonomous organizations. All right, so we now have DAOs, whereby the power, all right, or the authority in a business is no longer centralized, whereby we can now have reach of singular point of failure, but we have been able to de-risk that singular point of failure to everyone being the CEO. All right, so if I have a decentralized autonomous organization, if I'm running a DAO, every single DAO member, all right, becomes an authority arm. All right. So what now happens is laws or systems and structures are passed through by means of votes on proposal. So every DAO member in the business, all right, if you have a brilliant idea, you make a proposal about that idea, then every singular DAO member comes together and vote. All right. So if we have a higher passage of the vote, then we have that idea moved, all right, into when consensus is met, then that idea can now be actualized. We have another thing that this is the third thing Web3 can do is incentivized data network. This is in line with tokenization. All right. So right now we now have what Web2 has. All right. But this time around in Web3, we are saying you can have the same features. All right. You can have the same experience with what the Web3 was going to offer you. But this time around, sorry, this time around, we are going to incentivize you to be able to use our platform. I like telling people that the greatest raw material right now that exists is no longer crude oil, but it's currently data. Right? Data is the new black. Data is the new gold. Data is the new crude oil. All right. Data is the new energy. All right. So the Web2 platform utilizes your data to the point in time that you no longer even have privacy of any sort. You no longer even have ownership of your data. You no longer even have um, authority to profit from your own data. All right. These big Web2 centralized companies have been able to milk us of the ability to earn from something which is ours. All right, but Web3 has come and Web3 has said, hey, we know the data belongs to you. It is your data. This is what we are proposing, okay? Instead of we just making all the money, we are proposing a way that is a two-way thing. You, as the author, can make money, and your users or your listeners too can make money, and we, the platform producers, can also make money. All right, so Web3 has brought about incentivized data networks. One of the amazing examples was Steemit. Back then in 2017, I used Steemit. Steemit was my first exposure to Web3, whereby you make posts and you earn, you blog to earn. All right, so many other platforms has come out like that, whereby other things you were doing naturally with Web2, you can now actually do them and you get paid. Right? Amazing what Web3 is doing. All right. So I'm saying all these things that Web3 is doing so that after I say all these things, you can now start seeing opportunities inside all of this. All right. So that's the way I'm going about it. Also, your
Be-
self-sovereign identity. Thank you. Your self-sovereign identity. Currently in Web2, everyone can be anything, all right? And your data, like I was talking about earlier, your data is no longer yours, all right? Your profile, your profile, when you say when you say share me your profile, and the person shares you maybe his Facebook profile link or his LinkedIn profile link, his profile is his identity. All right. If I'm about to hire somebody, all right, I can't hire you, my boss. You're the one hiring. I'm open for employment. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to hire me and you say, how may I know you? What I just have to do is, in order for me to give you my identity, I just go give you my LinkedIn profile link, and you can be able to deduce who Lordwell is from there. All right. So your data is your identity. All right. But with Web2, we have come to discover that in a way we don't own our data. All right, our data has become in Web2 we are the products, or we are the platforms product. Our data are their product, whereby they have been able to mine our data, mine our profiles, our likes, our dislikes, all right, our conversation, and they have been able to gather all those and sell it to big advertisement companies. That is why you and me can be discussing on Facebook. We're talking about, man, someone like me, I don't have beds, so I'm just telling you that, man, how can I get a bed oil so that I can have beds? All right, I want to be a bed gang dude. All right, and you're just telling me that I think I know a shop that sells a particular type of bed. Guess what? The next 5 days, or the next from that day
Even
up
the
till
same
I
day.
finally buy, up
Yes.
till I finally buy that bed oil, every single ad on my
Ads.
Facebook, all right, will
It's
be
about it.
get your bed oil from Jumia, get your bed oil from Konga. That is just to tell you that, man, in Web 2, Web 2 is the real Wild West, man. All right. So, but in Web 3 is telling us that they are promising us the ability, all right, to be the sovereign lords, all right, of our data, and we can now choose what to do with our data. So we can now choose to say, okay, yeah, we know you want to advertise, all right. I'm giving you this leverage to use my data to advertise, but remember, incentivize network, but you're going to pay me in return. So it's beautiful. All right. Then
That,
also digital ownership. Digital ownership is also another thing Web3 is making available for us. All right. So right now, digital ownership. Right now, for now, most of the digital ownership. When people talk about digital ownership, they just refer to NFTs, art, collectibles, and all. But it's bigger than that. Imagine talking about digital ownership, like what BI is doing. Remember, I told you guys I work in BI. What BI is doing in our academic session, whereby we issue certificates on the blockchain as NFTs. All right, that is a huge utilization of digital ownership. All right, so forever, it's on this immutable protocol. Your certificate is there. Your title deeds, all right, your lands, your CFO can also be placed on the Web3, all right, whereby it cannot be stolen. It can only be referred back to you, and only you, all right, with your access to your private and public keys, can be able to authorize a transfer of that ownership to someone else. All right, I've seen platforms that are coming out that can help you. If you have Rolex wristwatches, this very expensive wristwatch, you can create an NFT of those wristwatches and place them on the blockchain or on an NFT marketplace and sell the digital version of your actual real life items. It's amazing the whole lot of opportunities that Web3 is giving to us by what it can do. Cryptocurrency. I didn't want to call cryptocurrency earlier because oftentimes when you talk about opportunities in Web3, the first thing that comes to people's mind is crypto, 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 crypto. But I think crypto, in if you look at it in the truest form of sense, crypto should be like one of like the lowest version of utilities blockchain has to offer to people. But everybody wants to make it wagmi. So crypto is the ability for us to have a network, all right, that has its own payment facilities. All right, so we have Bitcoin as a protocol, and we have Bitcoin as a currency or an asset class. So we have Ethereum as a platform, and we have Ethereum, all right, as a currency or as a commodity or as an asset. So cryptocurrencies, dApps, that's decentralized applications, all right, applications that are not centralized, using the decentralized nature of blockchain, right? So that is also another thing that Web3 is ensuring that we can do. All right. Then we now have the latest trend of the metaverse. Metaverse is just simply digital world and digital identity. So you're living in a digital world with a digital identity that can be different, totally different, absolutely different from the identity you have currently. So I can be Lord Wealth here, but in the metaverse, I can be a transformer. Now you watched Optimus Prime. I can be Optimus Prime in a metaverse. All right, or I can be something else. I can be anything I want to be. All right, irrespective of who I am over here. So metaverse is just can be summarized as digital world, digital identity. All right, so These are just decentralized finance, the ability for you to be able to take decentralized loans and decentralized lendings, decentralized insurance. These are the things Web3 has made possible for us to be able to do. All right, so that has taken me from what Web3 can do to opportunities, all right, in Web3. So one of the opportunities in Web3 is the development of dApps. So are you listening to? I just sounded like a YouTube ad. Are you listening to? Are you listening to this website or to this online stream? And you think you want to find out an opportunity in Web3? Think about development of dApps. All right, so with Web3, one of the opportunities is the development of dApps. So as an individual or as a group or an environment, if you're in the Web2 and you're thinking about how can I spot an opportunity in this Web3 and how can we take advantage of it? The development of decentralized applications is one of those opportunities. So look at the current solutions we have to so many things that are existing. How can you make it decentralized? How can you bring into peer-to-peer system? Just create a app, create a decentralized application that will work on the blockchain that is solving a problem that is currently existing, and you have made use of one of the opportunities. All right. Also, things we call software as a service. All right. Software as a service is not like a new opportunity in Web3. Software as a service already exists in Web2. All right, but also in Web3 right now, you can come up with so many software as a service. Wallet development is can be considered as a software as a service in the Web3, whereby you can develop wallet services, you can develop exchange services that people can actually use your softwares, all right, and pay you a premium for using it. All right, or you list out charges that people can actually. So development of software as a service in the Web3 ecosystem will serve as an opportunity. We also have blockchain as a service, or some people are calling it backend as a service, all right, whereby I was telling someone something. I was saying blockchain. We like preaching the news of decentralization. Yeah, decentralization, blockchain is decentralized. But think about it. We A blockchain project, all right, is hosting his or her blockchain website on a centralized web hosting platform. So, are you also seeing the fact that we think we are ready, but we are not ready? That's what I was telling you. The full implementation of blockchain at the moment is more like yeah, something that will happen. All right. So back end as a service is an opportunity. Blockchain as a service is an opportunity. Can we build? Can you come up, all right, with a solution, all right, to create decentralized web hosting services or decentralized storage platforms? All right, project like Filecoin are already doing something like that. Project like Storage are already doing something like that. Project like SC are already doing something like that. And there's room for iterations and improvement. All right. So look at what Filecoin, Storage, and all these other decentralization storage platforms are doing, and you could also create your own blockchain as a service, and people can actually pay a premium to actually host their decentralized platform on a decentralized web hosting platform. All right, and that is where I think it will be true decentralization. All right, not having a decentralized organization hosting their web page on a centralized web service. So it's crazy. Another opportunity is content monetization. All right, so we talked about this when I was talking about what Web3 can do for you. So right now, are you a content guy? You could take can actually make advantage of the Web3 platforms that pays for your content. All right. So instead of you always being on Facebook and posting your relevant content and all, you could actually look for a blockchain program or a blockchain project that's already doing incentivized networks, and you make your posts there, or you make your videos there, and you get paid for your content, right? You get paid in cryptocurrencies and all. Mining, mining is also a Web3 opportunities, all right? By the creation of cryptocurrencies, all right, which helps to incentivize um, the collaborators in the blockchain network, that helps to keep the trust in the protocol. The generation of these cryptocurrencies, right, by use of either mining or validation in a proof of stake ecosystem, is an opportunity anybody listening to this can actually jump upon. All right, so you can become a Bitcoin miner and mine Bitcoin, and earn from that. You can become an Ethereum proof of stake delegator, delegate your Ethereum and earn from it. All right, it's just it boils down to mining. Just it boils down to taking the advantage of cryptocurrencies and getting them directly from the network. All right. Also, the control over your data is also a very interesting opportunity in Web3. So these are just a few of them. And after this live stream, you can do your own research to discover more. In Web3, we like the word DYOR, do your own research, learn for yourself, blah 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 and blah. Yeah, but it's also the opportunity in Web3, learning more, learning daily. New trends come out, and you need to catch up with those new trends. And in order to catch up, you need to know. All right, yeah. So that's that.
All right, so that is quite beautiful. I mean, Web3 is quite broad. Seriously, Web3 is quite broad, and I think this is more than 50 minutes since we started this live stream. So, finally, I would love you to talk about some platforms. You've made mention of Steemit. I think it's not really functional like before. Do we have other platforms apart from Steemit that are Web3 platforms, or what cryptocurrencies do we consider as being a Web3 project? Maybe just one or two of it. Thank you.
Okay. If it's called a cryptocurrency and it has a blockchain where it is hosted on, where it is built
Sorry.
on, then it's a Web3 currency. All right, but now take
That's a good
take take
one.
this with a grain, take this with a grain of salt. All right, in investing or putting your money into something, or in trying to take advantage of something. I like telling some of my group members, I say, in your pursuit of money, do not go and give out the one you already have. Right. So in taking advantages of Web3 assets and Web3 cryptocurrencies as an opportunity, I think a proper understanding of what blockchain is truly about will help you separate the wheat from the tares, right? So that's a biblical reference, all right? So it will help you separate the wheat from the tares. It will help you separate the goats from the sheep, all right? It will help you to separate from the invest in and the invest not, all right? So, but if you're not knowledgeable about these certain things, every single hype will just get you interested. Now you have to understand that every new industry have phases in their growth. Currently, what we see right now in blockchain or in Web3 as a whole is a bunch of overly inflated hypes. All right.
Serious.
I'm telling you, I can remember when it was the DeFi trend. Just just create anything and add finance at the end of it, and
Yes.
and your coin will grow and people will buy it. It got so bad that there was Yam Finance. There was Yam Finance. There was there was Cherry Finance. Any
Yes.
single thing you do, I could just wake up in the morning and I'm like, hey, Emmanuel, let's create a project. And he'll be like, what are we doing? I'll say we are doing DeFi. And he'll be like, okay, what are we going to name it? I'll just say Wealth Finance. And as long
Okay.
as we added finance at the end of it and promised 20,000 APY, people were going
Yes.
to log in. All right. Now, those things were happening that way because a whole lot of people didn't have proper exposure or proper education, all right, about what blockchain truly is, all right, and what in its truest form it is trying to solve or it is trying to create a solution for. All right. So if you are attending this live stream and you are living here and saying, okay, cryptocurrencies as an opportunity, you have to be able to give yourself to proper education so that you can be able to separate the noise, all right, from the actual stuff. Just the same way during the dot-com bubble, a whole lot of projects, companies, and everything came up, but just a few survived. The likes of the Amazon, the Facebook, YouTube. Those were the few that survived. So you have to be able to know in a truest form what blockchain is all about. Then you can now look at the promises the dev team are giving to you. All right, not that you're looking at the white paper, and in the white paper, the people are telling you that this particular coin will be able to solve heart disease. Man, that doesn't make sense. And they call it they will now call it med finance. That's medical finance, giving you the ability to leverage your health on the blockchain. And you're so excited and you buy. And after the dev team has cashed out, they run away and leave you. And you're
Okay.
crying. Right? So you just have to separate this thing. And separating it only comes from when you have proper education. So give yourself to research and try to understand the basics of and the fundamentals of Web3 and what it stands for. Sometimes you can even give yourself a little bit of history to know what Web 2 and Web 1 is all about. Yeah, that will help you appreciate what Web 3 is trying to do. And in appreciating it, your eyes will be open and you begin to see opportunities that you could grab and use. Yeah.
All right, that is amazing. Thank you, Lord Wealth. Also, we want to give this opportunity to our viewers to ask questions. So, if you have questions based on what Lord Wealth has been able to discuss so far, please do well to drop it in the comment section. So, we just want to give 1 minute for that. And in the absence of no questions, we are going to draw the curtain for today's live stream, and we are going to see you next week. So do well to drop questions in the comment section if you have any. Do you have any questions? Drop it in the comment section. And if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, do well to hit on the subscribe button and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the like button so that YouTube will get to suggest this video to our other viewers just like you. Then I believe you did share this live stream to other persons so that they could be able to partake in this live stream and get to learn and the same value you've been able to got so far. Please, if you have any questions, do well to drop it in the comment section. And in the absence of no question, we are going to draw the curtain for today's live stream. Thank you so much, Mr. Lordwell, for the value you've been able to convey so far. We really do appreciate you for that. And depending on when you are going to see this video, probably it might be done at 10. I want you to still drop your questions depending on when you see this video. Then I'm going to be there chatting with you, giving you the right answers to whatever question you will be asking. So I think we want to say goodbye, and we are going to see you on the next live stream. So thank you so much, Lord Wealth. We really
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it. So what do you have to say to our viewers?
All right. Basically, Web 3, blockchain, cryptocurrency. It's
It's broad.
it's not a do or die. It's not a do or die stuff at the moment. All right. So just take it calm and steady. Um, give yourself to knowledge. Proper understanding of it is going to help you. Right. Part of the job, or part of the opportunities in blockchain is also Web3 jobs, and you can actually get Web3 jobs if you really.
Um, Sorry about that. I think he's having network issues, and I believe he's going to be back in the next few minutes. So, since I think, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think I lost you somewhere.
Yes, I think you're having network issues.
Yeah.
All right, so we call it a wrap. Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
goodbye, guys.